Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wyrowski, and I'd like to give you a very short background information about our physical optics modeling and design software VirtualLab Fusion. Let's start with the companies. VirtualLab is developed by the company Wyrowski Photonics, which was founded in 2014. So here we are the people who are doing the development of the software. And then LightTrans, which started the whole story and which was responsible for the development earlier, before we started to do this in 2014 by the company Wyrowski Photonics. LightTrans is meanwhile the general distributor of the software. So it means Wyrowski Photonics is developing it, LightTrans is the general distributor. As a comment, both companies are private companies, just with a few owners. LightTrans has 3 owners and Wyrowski Photonics has 2 owners. Now, LightTrans, as a general distributor, is responsible for distributing the software together with distributor partners in different countries. In particular, in the Asian region, we have distributors and to support us in distributing in these kind of areas. In the USA, we do, for example, distribution also ourselves from LightTrans. Good. Now, the VirtualLab Fusion, by this kind of concept, now has meanwhile thousands of licenses sold worldwide and with hundreds of customers, to give you a little bit idea how we do that. Now, the mission we have and which we follow with the development and the distribution of the software is providing fast physical optics software tools with VirtualLab Fusion and workflows for modeling and design in optics and photonics. And of course, we are concentrating on some kind of special features. This is in particular when we consider the development of solutions. We consider in particular everything which is related to flat optics, including coatings, gratings, diffractive elements, diffusers, holograms, metasurfaces, component arrays like lens arrays. But also, of course, lenses, freeform optics more and more, and in general microstructures and nanostructures, and we also add now more and more scattering and also modeling with a bidirectional scattering distribution function. And we do this kind of developments in particular for applications in the fields which are listed here, where actually we in particular consider light shaping and non-imaging optics. LiDAR is very important. We are very active in light guides for AR, MR. We have started to work in fiber optics and so on. Also femtosecond pulses, for example, is something we do and where the interest is gaining momentum actually quite a lot. Now, what is the concept on which VirtualLab Fusion is based on? So what's the basic idea? What's the difference to other software products? Now, we are doing physical optics and we are doing physical optics system modeling. That means we have sources, so we need to model sources, and there are a lot of different components. And these components are put together in a system. Let's, for example, assume some of them, and they form a system. And we like to solve Maxwell's equations for given sources and given components. That means we like to solve Maxwell's equations. And the solver to do this is called a field solver. So Maxwell equations are solved by field solvers. Now comes the most important understanding. Everybody knows when you try to do that if you try to apply one single field solver, for example, finite different time domain, it is completely unrealistic to do system modeling. So it means one solver, one Maxwell solver, to be applied for the whole system, it's a completely unrealistic situation. Our solution for that can be summarized as follows. Instead of using one solver, we are connecting specialized field solvers. It means connecting field solvers, it's the strategy we follow. What does it mean? For different components, we develop field solvers. And then we assign different solvers to different components. And if you work with VirtualLab, you can find that each component comes at least with one solver. So you don't need to care about it. The solver is in the component. If you take a lens, the solver comes with it. Okay? So, and now we connect all the solvers by a concept which we call field tracing. So field tracing is this technology to connect solvers. And by that, it can be theoretically shown, and we do it in practice. We can solve Maxwell's equations in a very realistic time. That means in particular, we enable fast physical optics modeling, and very often that means that physical optics modeling also just takes seconds to be completed. That is of course not always the case. If you have a lot of nanostructures included, which are large, then of course it can also be much longer. But for a lot of applications, in particular the applications I mentioned before, we are really talking here about physical optics modeling in this kind of time schedule. And this is not just another software with a little bit different theory, but there's a full theory behind it. It's about a lot of physical optics concepts, and here are just papers we have published last year. And already this year we have 3 more papers about the backbone of our software concept from a theoretical point of view. And more papers are on the way. Of course, we don't publish any detail, but the basic concepts we publish. I like to emphasize another thing which is very important to understand about this kind of concept. And this is something I like to take from Principle of Optics, from this famous book from Max Born and Emil Wolf. In this book you can find some part where they discuss about the generalization of the understanding of general optics. And in fact we have interpreted that, and we come to the conclusion in a very theoretical and mathematical way that we can recognize in physical optics a diffractive and a geometric part. So we have a geometric branch and a diffractive branch in physical optics. And we have solvers, field solvers in this diffractive part and in this geometric part. And this geometric physical optics solvers, it's still a physical optics solver with everything included, which is needed to be included. And these solvers can be extremely fast, at least as fast as ray tracing. And this is quite important to understand. That means this technique to have solvers and to connect them, which we call field tracing, is connecting rigorous and approximated field solvers in different regions of the system, is exactly the key technology of VirtualLab. And very, very important, VirtualLab Fusion can be understood in this way as a platform for inbuilt and customized solvers and connecting them. The field tracing technology is connecting them. We come with a lot of inbuilt solvers, but we can also add customized solvers. That means any customer can add his or her own solver, and then it works together with the solvers we deliver in the concept of field tracing. So it's a very scalable approach. It in particular allows, this kind of approach we have, a seamless transition between the diffractive and the geometric branch of physical optics. And it is theoretically clear, and we give access in VirtualLab, that if you are still in the geometric branch of physical optics, then you can easily extract ray optics. That is theoretically known that ray optics, of course, is included in physical optics, and here we have a theoretical explanation for that, how it works and how it also works in practice. So that is what we are doing there. And the physical optics modeling, which is possible to do, is of course exactly the way to overcome all the limitations you may face if you do ray optics. So you can overcome this limitation wherever needed and still have always access to ray optics. And this generalization of understanding in optical modeling and design to include physical optics thinking gives you a fresh view on scenarios in optics and photonics and how to deal with them. So we think we really open the door here for a fresh understanding and new ideas in optical modeling and design by giving you a pragmatic approach to physical optics, a physical optics approach which works in praxis. That's our way to do. Thank you very much for your attention.